decades, really, the expertise in making the discoveries of new deposits, large new deposits, to replenish the reserves of these big mining companies has shifted down towards the exploration company side of the business. So our team is populated by a number of very well-known geologists on both, the board, the management side, and the technical advisory side.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Inside the Markets Extra. We are more than honored to be sitting down today with Simon Dyakowski. He is the president and CEO of Aztec Minerals Corp. Thank you so much, Simon, for joining us today.
Well, thanks, Justin. It's my honor to be on the StockPulse show with you today.
Thank you for joining us. You're exploring gold, silver, and also for copper. Now, can you explain what you're keeping an eye on in terms of the gold and silver industry today, whether that just be the metals themselves or even the junior exploration sector?
Sure. So we do have a focus on silver and gold in our property in Arizona, and then gold and copper at our property in Mexico. But more generally, our role in the industry here is to make discoveries. So, the mining industry is dominated by large mining companies that they're experts in actually producing minerals out of mines rather than metals. In recent decades, really, the expertise in making the discoveries of new deposits, large new deposits, to replenish the reserves of these big mining companies has shifted down towards the exploration company side of the business. So our team is populated by a number of very well-known geologists on both, the board, the management side, and the technical advisory side, who have a lot of expertise and a track record in making new discoveries, operating mines, and selling companies. So that's where we fit in the picture as an exploration company in terms of gold and silver, precious metals. I'm personally quite bullish on them. The investor sentiment of recent hasn't been great, but if you look historically where we're trading at, over $20 for silver, over $1,800 today for gold, elevated levels. Historically, the longer term trend is positive. I think moving into 2022 with potentially some disruption in the markets with rising interest rates or kind of the hangover from the last couple of years of geopolitics with COVID and whatnot, it does set the stage for, I think, a renewed investor interest in gold, and particularly in junior gold and silver exploration.
Having and producing a commodity that has a bullish outlook changes the way in which you do business or manage asset portfolio. In what ways, if any, Simon?
So for us, we are focused on the projects that we have. We've selected them on a few very important criteria. Number one, we're looking for large projects. On our presentation on our website, we refer to elephant hunting. So we are looking for these very large size deposits. And the reason for this is because, as I mentioned earlier, the big mining companies, they need big projects to move the needle. And shareholders of junior exploration companies tend to, have the best returns when the large discoveries are made and the major company comes in and acquires the project or the company from the junior. So that's why we're looking at elephant or large size deposits as a target. And we're also looking for projects in safe jurisdictions. So, we do want to see a very credible path towards production if and when we do make a discovery. So that's why we focused on North America, and in particular in Arizona, in the United States, and in Sonora, Mexico, which, in their respective countries are established mining jurisdictions with very limited political risk as compared to some other areas of the world.
In what ways are Mexico and the US similar or different? And do they share any characteristics by virtue of being neighbors?
So our projects while they're in different countries, they're actually located in the same desert, in the Sonoran Desert. So they're on the map page where we show our projects, you see both of them. They're within a few hundred kilometers of each other. So, geologically, they're in the same region. In terms of U.S. versus Mexico, each country has very unique mining laws and practices. However, we have focused in an area in Mexico that has established copper copper production and gold heap leach production. So, we feel it's a lower risk area. We also have negotiated all the surface access to the land. So we're sitting in an advantageous point from where the project is located. It's also located near all of the intangible services and skilled labor forces of being in a mining district within the country. And similarly in Arizona, it's a state in the United States that is known to be one of the more mining friendlier states. I don't know the Fraser Institute rankings off the top of my head, but it's in the top 5 jurisdictions, I believe, in the United States for friendliness towards mining. And I'll add that our project there is located on private land. So the potential permitting hurdles that you might see on projects located on public or Forest Service land are less on private land, significantly less. So that plays into being located in the U.S.
Can you speak to some of the other benefits of mining in Arizona?
Absolutely. I mean, very similar to Sonora, it's an established mining jurisdiction. Arizona is known for giant copper porphyry mines, of which there are several. And, for example, our project, the Tombstone Silver District, is a historic past producing silver district. The town basically exists because of the old mining activities that occurred there in the late 1800s through to the 1940s. It's now a tourist town, and it's had its fame more recently from the Tombstone movie and then the shootout at the OK Corral that happened in Tombstone. But before all that got going, when it was a frontier town, it was really populated because of the high grade silver that the miners were finding. So it's an area where the locals are not surprised by mining exploration. They support it. They're very well familiar. I mentioned that the main period of high grade silver mining at Tombstone was 1880 to 1940, but even in the mid 1980s, there was an open pit heap leach gold mine located at our property. So we like that aspect of it. There's, again, very readily available work and equipment and suppliers in Arizona for mineral exploration.
How about the state's business friendly approach? How does that benefit a miner?
Well, for example, our permitting process in Arizona, because we're on private land, it's very, very short compared to some comparable jurisdictions in North America. It's a matter of weeks to get drill permits on private land versus it can be months and sometimes longer in other areas of the U.S. and Canada even. So that's just one aspect of it. We're still in exploration phase, looking to quantify and see what is to be found there. We've had good success at Tombstone, expanding the gold oxide shallow epithermal vein deposit that we found there. But when the project does go towards permitting, the process is relatively simple there, obviously being in Arizona compared to other areas of the world.
What else do people need to know about what's going on at Aztec Minerals today?
Well, we do have, we have the 2 projects, as I mentioned, both stable political jurisdictions. Obviously, at Tombstone, we have this huge advantage of being located on private land. We've drilled about 4,500 meters of RC drilling there. Oh, sorry, about 6,000 meters in the last 2 years. And we've hit, significant intersections of oxide gold and silver in each of those programs. And we've only really scratched the surface there. So we've drilled down to a maximum depth of about 150 meters in and around the old open pit. We've confirmed mineralization now on nearly 1 kilometer of strike up and down the pit, down to a maximum depth of 150 meters, still open at depth, still open east and west on each side. And we do look forward to going back there later this year with a diamond drill and drilling deeper and expanding on what we've already found. More current is our drill program at Cervantes in Mexico. This is the gold copper project where we've already made a significant gold oxide discovery there several years ago. We drilled it back in 2017, 2018, discovered a gold oxide cap to what could be a much larger gold copper porphyry system. The headline hole there was 160 meters, averaging 0.77 grams gold. Oxide gold, preliminary metallurgical work there is positive as well. So we actually just announced back in December that we're back to work there after about a 4-year hiatus. And we are now in the middle of a 5,000 meter RC drill program, which is the first follow-up drilling to the initial discovery that we made there. Now, that project, I should mention, is in a 65-35 joint venture with Kootenay Silver, of which we're the operator and we own the 65% interest. So we do work on that with a partner. And yes, we've been active there over the last year and really ramping things up with this new drill program. So we do expect to have drill results out in the first quarter of 2022. As I mentioned, the drilling just really started in December, so we're a few holes into it. We should be wrapping it up this quarter, and we'll have steady news flow on that for the next 3 to 4 months, which we think will be significant for the company. The drill program is comprised of both infill and step out from the initial discovery that we made back in 2018, and testing some new targets, most notably 2 deep 500-meter holes that could put together a more of a porphyry thesis for us in some geophysical anomalies that we've identified below the gold oxide cap.
We've had the honor and privilege of sitting down today with Simon Dyakowski. He's the president and CEO of Aztec Minerals Corp. Thank you so much, Simon, for joining us today.
Well, thank you very much for having me on. I enjoyed the discussion.
And thank you, everyone, for watching. Happy New Year.